Hey guys, it's Flip, and today I'm going to show you how to correctly set the deck wheels on a CUB CADET XT1 Enduro Series lawn tractor. So these are your deck wheels, otherwise known as anti-scalp wheels. And the purpose of these is to keep your deck from dipping and scalping the grass when you go through a rut in your yard. There are two on the front and two on the back on this model. And the key to these wheels working correctly is that you have to have them set in the right position. And this is pretty much the same for all riding lawnmowers. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So the first thing you want to do is set your lawnmower on a smooth, flat surface, and then make sure your tires are filled up all the way. For this model, it is 10 psi in the back and 14 psi in the front, and that's pretty common amongst riding lawnmowers. The second thing you want to do is actually level your deck front to back and side to side. If you do not know how to do this, I have a video on this topic, and I will put it in the corner of the screen right now. Then before you adjust the deck wheels, you want to set your deck height where you would typically cut your grass. Now I'm cutting tall fescue, so I'm typically cutting it at 3.5 or 3 inches, somewhere around there. So I'm going to set it on the high end here at 3.5 inches. And now we're going to go ahead and make our adjustment. So the key to these anti-scalp wheels working correctly is they have to be set in the right position. And where you want them to sit is about 1/2 inch above the ground. You don't want them riding on the ground or they're going to wear out too quickly. And you don't want them up too high or they're not going to keep your deck from dipping into the ruts and scalping your grass. So let's go ahead and measure this. And as you can see, mine are set way too high. This is up at 3 inches. So we need to lower this down to where it sits about 1/2 inch above the ground. Now how we're going to do that is we have a bolt that is holding this wheel to this bracket here, and there are 4 possible holes that you can put this bolt through. It is currently set in the second to highest hole, so we're going to go ahead and move that all the way down to the bottom hole and see if that lowest setting gets us to where we want to be. So there's a lock nut on the back that you have to hold in place and a bolt here that you loosen, and you can do this with a couple wrenches or a wrench and a socket wrench. I'm going to use my impact just to make it a little bit faster. So then we'll go ahead and put that bolt in the very bottom hole and tighten that up, and we'll see if that gets us closer to where we want to be with the current deck height where we are cutting grass. If you want to set this to the exact foot-pounds as in the manual, you can set this with a torque wrench to 30 foot-pounds of torque. So let's check where we're at now. So with the deck set at 3.5 inches and the deck wheel set in the very bottom hole, this got us down to about 1 inch from the ground, and that's about as good as you're going to do with the deck set this high. If you want to get the wheels down to the 1/2 inch where it should be, you'll just have to lower the cutting height a little bit. And I'll show you that in a minute when I lower the deck down to 3.25 inches, but for now let's move on to the back wheel. So the socket sizes are a little bit different on the back, and I put that there on the screen. And again, we're moving it from the second highest hole all the way down to the bottom hole here. So now we're around to the other side of the mower and we're starting with the back. And again, I'm just showing you how high these deck wheels are before we lower them down. So again, I'm just lowering that down to the very bottom hole here. So just to review the moral of the story here, the ideal setting for the deck wheels is around 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. If you are cutting grass at 3.5 inches or higher, you're not going to be able to get them that low. Having said that, if you lower the wheels down to the bottom setting, it is going to help somewhat. But if you want to get the wheels down to that ideal setting, you will have to lower your cutting height to at least 3.25 inches. So here I'm all done, and I've got that deck lowered to 3.25 inches, and just to show you, now these deck wheels are sitting about 1/2 inch above the ground. So that's it. Hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, please hit the thumbs up button for me and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.